Deon D-Rock Barnes had been running Joy Road long before the young hustlers even knew what a brick was. The west side of Detroit was his kingdom, and he wore the crown with pride. By the time others caught on, he had already stacked enough money to buy his first Monte Carlo, a deep midnight blue 87 with chrome rims that shined under the streetlights. He wasn't just another hustler, he was the first, the blueprint. When others were still selling nickel bags, he was already moving weight. It was his game before it became the city's game, and anyone who tried to challenge him found out the hard way. But times were changing. The streets were getting crowded, and the younger generation didn't know the rules. At the Thunder Guard's clubhouse, a smoky den filled with the scent of leather and whiskey, D-Rock sat with his brothers. His black Harley sat outside, gleaming under the flickering neon sign. The club was his second home, but lately, there was a shift in the air. Tensions between the old heads and the young riders were rising, and D-Rock found himself caught in the middle. You hear about that young boy Flex? Big Reggie, his right-hand man, leaned over and muttered. Lil dude moving packs through Joy Road like he don't know whose turf he's stepping on. D-Rock exhaled, tapping the ash from his cigar. He know, he just don't respect. And that was the problem. D-Rock fired up his Harley and took a slow ride down Joy Road, the city moving past him in a blur of streetlights and fast money. His people were posted up on corners, hustling like usual, but the sight of new faces made him uneasy. Flex and his crew were getting bold, and that meant problems. At a red light, his phone buzzed, a text from Keisha, his ex. "We need to talk." He sighed. Love and the streets never mixed well. Keisha had been the one good thing in his life that wasn't tied to the hustle, but she wanted him out. And deep down, he knew she was right. But getting out wasn't easy. Not when you were the first. Not when you had a name. The roar of motorcycles broke his thoughts. A pack of Thunder Guards rode past, nodding in his direction. He nodded back, but something in their eyes told him they weren't all on his side anymore. Chapter 3. The Monte Carlo Chase. The next night, a deal went bad. A drop near an abandoned gas station turned into an ambush. D-Rock barely made it to his Monte Carlo before bullets started flying. Tires screeched, and he slammed the gas, weaving through the streets as headlights appeared in his rearview mirror. Someone had set him up. He knew the streets, knew every alley, every shortcut. The Monte Carlo tore through the back roads, and with one sharp turn, he lost them. But he wasn't safe. Not yet. His mind raced. Someone inside his circle was talking, and if he didn't find out who soon, it was only a matter of time before the streets took him under. Keisha met him at her apartment, worry in her eyes. "You need to leave this alone, Deon, before it's too late." "I can't just walk away," he said. "Not when I don't know who's playing me." "Then you already lost." Her words cut deep, but she wasn't wrong. Still, he wasn't built to run. He was built to fight. Flex made his move first. One of D-Rock's young dealers was found dead, a warning left in blood. Retaliation was the only option, but the Thunder Guards wanted him to stand down. "They ain't worth the heat," Bishop, the club president, warned. "Let it go." But D-Rock couldn't. His name, his reputation, it all meant something, and he wasn't about to let a young punk rewrite history. The clubhouse meeting was tense. D-Rock stood in the center, surrounded by men he once trusted. Bishop eyed him carefully. "You bring in too much heat, the club comes first." D-Rock knew what that meant. He was being pushed out, but he wasn't about to let them take what he built. Not without a fight. Gunshots echoed through the night. The war had officially begun. Bodies dropped on both sides, and the streets were drowning in blood. The cops were closing in, and D-Rock knew time was running out. Keisha was packing her bags, ready to leave, but she gave him one last chance. "Come with me." He hesitated. He had one last thing to do. A whispered tip led him to an abandoned warehouse. He went in ready for war, but he wasn't prepared for what he found. Flex was dead, and the real enemy was standing behind him, gun raised. Bleeding but alive, D-Rock barely made it to his Harley. The city blurred past him as he rode into the night, knowing there was only one way this ended. He wasn't going out like this. Not on his own streets. Chapter 10. Out or Dead. The final showdown came fast. Betrayal, bullets, and blood. When the dust settled, only one man stood, D-Rock. He packed his Monte Carlo, Keisha waiting in the passenger seat. The road stretched ahead, endless and unknown. He had a choice: keep running the game or leave before the game ran him. He gripped the wheel, took one last look at Joy Road, and then he drove. The end.